So I'm putting Rosebud AI to the test again. If you didn't know, Rosebud is an AI tool that can create video games by simply giving it prompts. I've already made a video about it where I created a shooter horror game, and it was actually really impressive. But this time I want to push it even further. I've put together another list of tasks for the AI to see how far it can really go. Let's start by creating a third-person character controller. I'll also provide it with the controls. Now, one of the cool things about Rosebud is that it doesn't just do what you ask, it kinda thinks ahead. For example, it already added a map, a player model, and even mobile controls, without me asking. That's great, but I don't really need any of that right now, so let me just clear everything out. For the player model, I will use this model I found on Sketchfab. I just told Rosebud to use the new player model, and as expected it's not sized right. It should be an easy fix though. Okay, so he's sized right, but he's floating. That should fix it. And he looks great. I'll be using Mixamo to animate the player. I'm searching for an idle animation right now, and I think this one's good enough. I'll import it in the project and tell Rosebud to implement it in-game. So I downloaded a few more animations from Mixamo, and it took me a bit to set them up, but it worked. The only issue right now is that the animations aren't transitioning smoothly between each other. So I still haven't got the smoothing right, but I'll ask him to redo it later. Right now I want to see if it can create inventory systems. Believe me when I say that inventory systems are a pain to code, so I'm really curious how well it will do it. Okay, so it created the code, but it didn't create the UI. Oh, never mind, it suggested creating the UI too. Perfect. And if I press B, yeah, it opened up the inventory. So what I'm doing right now is telling Rosebud to create a test cube that the player can pick up. So here's the cube, and if I press E, the player should pick it up. And it works. To make the pickup system more responsive, I'll tell the AI to create some UI over the items that appears when they can be picked up. And now if I go close to the item, yeah, it appears. Before I move on, I really want to fix the character controller. What if I just tell him to redo it from scratch? Okay, so now I want the items to actually show up in the player's hand. So I ran into a bit of a problem here. No matter what I told the AI, the item just wouldn't attach to the player's hand bone. Like it was just floating there or not showing up at all, but I had an idea. I told Rosebud to display the world position of the hand bone, to see if it was even detecting it, and it turns out that was the issue. It couldn't even find the hand bone, which obviously explains why nothing was attaching to it. Well, I told the AI that the bone wasn't being found, and somehow it figured it out and fixed it. Don't ask me how, but it worked. Anyway, now that that's out of the way, I want the AI to generate a map for the game. I'll just tell it to create an island. Okay, so it's way too small, but it looks great. So I told Rosebud to make the island bigger and fix a bug that spawned the player under the map, and we have an island. Next on my list was a building system. So I told it to add a build function where you can build walls based on a square grid, and I also noted that they should have a preview before placing them down. So it's working, but they're still being placed at the old ground level. It should be an easy fix though. Okay, so it works, but I don't think there's a way to rotate them yet. Add R to rotate. Perfect. I just noticed the player can walk through the walls. I'll tell Rosebud to give the wall a collider, and let's also add a delete tool. What if I also give the walls an animation when being placed down? Nah, it's still crazy for me what Rosebud can do from only one prompt. I wonder what it will do for a break animation. Okay, so it looks good, but the preview also gets animated for some reason. So build mode still needs a structure selection menu. It's not really what I'm going for. I would have wanted a small UI on the side of the screen. Just for testing purposes, I told it to add a small wall. Though I'll add more structures later. But right now I like to change the UI of the game. I'll tell Rosebud to give the UI a more cozy survival style, because right now it doesn't really fit the style of the game. I wonder if it can create 3D previews for the items. Usually it's not that hard, but it still requires placing a 3D model in a 2D environment. And it did it with no problem. They are just not sized correctly. But I'll fix it later. At this point, the map needed some trees. I found this low poly tree pack on Fab, I uploaded all the tree models and told Rosebud to randomly place them around the island. The player will be able to chop down the trees to obtain wood, which will be used to build structures. Currently I'm telling Rosebud to implement an axe item and give it this axe model I found earlier. So here I ran into another problem. The axe wasn't positioned correctly in the hand. Usually with Rosebud, I would have told it to rotate the axe until it looked good, but I found it easier to add X, Y, and Z sliders for the axe, so I can position and rotate it as I want, and then just give Rosebud the vectors. Now that the axe is working, I told Rosebud to make it so you can chop down trees, each one taking about 5 hits. I also asked it to make the trees drop planks when destroyed. So the planks dropped, but they just kind of float there. Okay, so now they're falling, but way too slowly. Make them heavier and less bouncy. Now they fall more realistically. I also told the AI to make the planks bigger. So we've got the trees working, and the apple trees also drop apples now. I used the same technique to position the apple in the player's hand as I did with the axe. Last but not least, I found an animation on Mixamo for the axe and told Rosebud to implement it. With the tree system done, I should now implement a health system. I told Rosebud to give the player 5 hearts and have them heal when eating apples. There's nothing in the game that actually hurts the player yet. So for now, I added a debug button that damages the player when pressed, and if I eat the apple, it heals me. What Rosebud is doing right now is adding a pop-up each time an item enters the player's inventory. And check it out, if I pick up an item, the pop-up appears. So I found this dog model made by the same person who made the player model, and I think it will be cool to see if Rosebud can create a dog AI that can pick up items for you and bring them to you. I told Rosebud to implement a dog that will follow the player, wander around, and when there are items on the ground that the player didn't pick up, the dog will bring them to the player. So here he is. Let's see if he can pick up the items. I've also added some new structures that you can build, but their icons are currently just emojis. I want Rosebud to replicate the inventory preview and add 3D structure previews in the build menu. So now I want to see if Rosebud can handle a save and load system. What I'm thinking is that it could use the side cookies to store the game data. But first I should add the main menu. Alright, so the main menu looks great. Now let's tell Rosebud to implement a saving mechanic. So let's chop down a tree. And if I press save, okay good, it says it's saved. Now let's see if I spawn back in with my 6 wood. So it's loading up. And yeah, it totally worked. It also saved my position too. So here's how the AI game turned out. So we've got the main menu, we also have a loading button. Here I have a previous save, but I'll make a new world. We have a cool loading screen too. And here we are. So we've got the inventory system, you can also click items to show the preview. I really like how the items pop out of the tree. And we also have the UI that goes over the items. Let's test the dog too. So if I chop down this tree, the dog should pick up the items and bring them to me after like 10 seconds. So let's wait here. And here he is. I really want to show you build mode. So this is build mode and I'm really impressed how it turned out. You can build anything. For example, let's build a house. You can also press up and down arrows to change the level of the buildings. And right now I don't have enough wood, so I have a debug mode and I have here a give wood button. And if I press it, I get a bunch of wood. Let's also add some spiked walls around. So this is build mode. I still want to add a door structure, but I haven't added it yet. We also have this farming plot that at the moment doesn't do anything, because I didn't get to make the farming system yet, or Rosebud to make the farming system yet. And now let's test the saving feature too. So if I press quick save, it says that it's saved, and if I press load, it loaded up perfectly. Here we have the farming plots we placed, all the walls, I can break them. Also here are the apples. If I take damage, I have a button again in the debug screen. I can eat apples too, and it will fill up my health. Big thanks to Rosebud AI for sponsoring this video. If you'd like to give it a try, click the link in the description. Also, besides my dream horror game, I've got a big project in the works. So if I don't post this couple of months, this is why.